Hello, everybody, and welcome to the VESL Overwatch one-off tournament, day number 1. I am Septilence, joined by Twin Salty. We're going to be jumping into our first series here. We've got quite a few in store for you today. But before we get into all of that, Twin Salty, how you doing, man? How you feeling?
Feeling good, making my VESL debut. Happy to, be with the veteran here in the booth with me. So, no, I'm excited to see this quick little one-off tournament we got this week.
Yeah, we got a little bit of action going on here this week. I believe Monday through at least Wednesday, possibly into Thursday. We're going to be seeing a lot of these Overwatch teams come to fruition in best of threes until later on, but we'll get there when we get there. We got to talk about what these teams are fighting for as well. We've got a pretty large prize pool in hand that we're excited to talk about. First place, 7.5, so $7,500 for the first place team, and that is the team, not per person. So divide that by 5, and that's the number you get per player. Second place, we got 5,000, and third place, we got $2,500. Which is absolutely nothing to shy away from. That is a fat stack of cash if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, right. Like if I was playing, in high school and had these kind of prize pools, man, that'd be playing in everything livingly possible. So yeah, first place, $7.5 grand to split amongst you and your teammates. Definitely a lot to play for here these next few days.
Yeah, I hate to admit this, but Overwatch came out when I was in high school, so I didn't have a lot of time to kind of play in the experience, but definitely excited to see that these high schoolers are getting this opportunity. Recently I was put into the position of a collegiate recruiter and esports program director, so now I get to come in as a caster, but now there's part of my brain that goes, oh, write that name down. So I'm excited to see what these players are going to be able to bring to the table here today. Our first matchup of the day is going to be Newburn versus NYXL. And if you're an Overwatch fan, let's clarify, NYXL Junior, not the one you're thinking of.
Yeah, no, not the historic Overwatch League team that, were great, and then they weren't so great for a few seasons Overwatch League. And then, they ended on a pretty decent note. But this is the, quote, NYXL Junior team with one of the New York subliner content creators actually on the team here. So that should be a little bit of an interesting predicament here because they usually play COD. They've, won COD tournaments in VESL before. Yeah. Now shifting over here to Overwatch 2, we'll have to see if that skill can transfer over.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the green room a little bit. That skill does transfer over to a certain extent. So my first question is going to be, how exactly we're going to see mechanically, because COD is traditionally controller based. Overwatch tends to be mouse and keyboard. We have to see if this player is going to be playing on both or one versus the other. It'll be really interesting, but we'll talk about that more as the game unfolds. Before we jump into that game, though, let's talk about Advanced GG for just a moment here. You can use code VESL for 10% off your Advanced.GG order if you wanted to order some and you were waiting for a sign from whoever you were waiting for the sign from. Here it is. This is your sign and this is your discount code. Use code VESL for 10% off your Advanced.GG order.
Yeah, might as well put the 10% off on there. I won't lie, that Rocket Pop flavor sounds really good.
It
like
really
just
does.
Looking at it, it sounds amazing right now. So yeah, make sure go to advanced.gg, use the VESL code, and get 10% off your incoming order. But yeah, ready to get the first game of the night going here. I don't know, I'm feeling slightly towards NYXL. I don't know if that's just because of the name shouting out at me. But I'm going to lean slightly that way, but that's the beauty of today. It's group stage. Everybody makes it still to the knockout bracket. This is purely for seeding today, and everyone will get at least a little bit of a taste of where they stack up.
Yeah, there's going to be something really interesting about this being that seeding, right? These games being on stream, you've got to be careful because you may give a little bit about your strategy, maybe too much away. So you've got to find that way to win without winning too much, without losing. There's that very interesting gray area of this situation, of this series. And with a new player coming in, like Swag checked that COD player into Overwatch, you have to assume, this is what we talked about in the green room, they're only going to be playing a couple of characters, right? We're assuming maybe Soldier 76, maybe Sojourn, your very kind of classic FPS shooter style characters. So if they become over-reliant on that one character, could it be detrimental? I guess there's one way for us to find out.
Yeah, it definitely could. It helps for them that, Sojourn is still in a very good spot right now. And we also did, a little bit of scouting. Bastion is one of their, top heroes. And that could get a little interesting because we don't see Bastion a lot right now.
Yeah.
Just with how the meta is. But, when you get to this stage of competition, the overall pro meta isn't always what these teams will be running. They're going to run what's comfortable, what they're used to running. So we may not see, the Mauga comps that we've seen all over the place with Venture. this may be going more to the basics, or we could just see some of the wackiest things work, because that is just the beauty of this skill tier.
Yeah, without a doubt, the high school level does tend to be one of my favorites here, and that's what we see most often at VESL GG. So we're falling out of it. You mentioned that meta, so to speak, and we're seeing a lot of off or unique picks. Last VESL event that I had the opportunity to attend, I played a little Overwatch bingo to see if we would see every single hero, and I think we were a 2 or 3 short, Bastion being one of the ones we didn't see. So my fingers are crossed that hopefully we get the chance to see him today. We've got a map pool going into this too. Now these are best of 3 series. Map number 1 will be Lijiang Tower. Map number 2 will be Blizzard World. And map number 3 will be Dorado. Now our at-home avid viewers and game knowledgers, you're probably wondering, wait a minute, you can tie one of those maps. What happens if we have a tie in a best of 3 scenario? Well, Jesse, what would we see next?
We'd be going over to Push for our 4th map in the event that we do tie hybrid. Granted, like you said, it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, sometimes teams are like, wait, like, where do we go if we go to a map 4? So Push would be the 4th map, maybe one of the last dying days of Palisades before the rework comes in on Thursday. So, you know, maybe we see a little bit of a last dance of this version of Palisades, or, you know, we'll just stick to the basic 3 in the beginning of our map pool.
Yeah, maybe we see Push, maybe we don't. But hey, the Palisades changes, I'm half excited about. I'm not stoked the glass is being removed. I don't like that part, but I do like the second point changes with the new statue and with the more area to play. I think that's really going to make it a lot easier to stall out somebody's kind of snowball aggression, because that's why we stopped seeing Palisades in competitive often, is because when a team started, it was very, very difficult to stop them. And I think that statue, that change area on that second point is really going to improve the viability of that map.
Yeah, that, and honestly, you know, sometimes on the pro level, people just would not die, you know, for a solid 2 or 3 minutes, because they would always hide by the glass, and it was like, all right, you know, somebody needs to die eventually here, right? You can't just sit here by the bot, have it go back and forth for minutes on end. So I'm curious how those changes will actually go into effect on Thursday, and, you know, like I said, if this event does go into Thursday, are there patch notes that come in, and does that change what we're seeing? Obviously, it's a very hypothetical thing to talk about. It's kind of something that we're kind of putting in the back of our minds for a few days, but that could change it up come, you know, semifinals and grand finals time.
Very, very true. But I guess if we're going to spend time discussing hypotheticals and whatnot, this is the time to do it. We don't really know a lot about most of the teams we're seeing. We've only seen them once or twice, if at all. So there's a lot of viability and a lot of possibility here on the table. But Jesse, take the players away, take the individuality away, and just go into raw game mechanics for us here for a moment. What meta do you think we'd be expecting to see today? Is there any one meta, any one hero that we're seeing more often? Because I'm not comfortable saying there's a hard meta in this game right now, but there's certainly some heroes we're seeing more so than others.
Yeah, it's weird that we're not in like a super hard meta, like you said. You know, we're definitely in a map-dependent meta.
Very much so.
Where, you know, if you're on Watch Point, you're going to see a lot of Winston, especially right now. Some will see Doomfist if you're comfortable on it. But he is very much, you know, you either exceed or you feed, right? And if I play Doomfist, I feed. So, you know, that's kind of just how you have to look at it on that line. And then, you know, you still have poke maps like Circuit where you're going to see Sig. And then you still got the Rush that we see more often than not with the Ramatra if you don't want to run Mauga.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's kind of where we lean to tonight with like a Lucio, a Laurie, you know, Sojourn. We've seen a lot of Alari as of late for whatever reason. I'm not complaining. It seems like they've kind of hidden behind for a long time, but excited to see what these teams will be able to run as we are now loaded into Lijiang Tower, and it'll be Night Market for our first map.
Night Market, one of my personal favorite stages just in the entire game, honestly. I'm really looking forward to seeing what these teams are bringing out. We've got a Doomfist v Diva as that opening pick here, and of course, they've got 20 seconds to swap, so nothing's really locked until that first fight begins, but with Vikesta finding a Sombra early on, that's going to make it really difficult, I think, for that Doomfist to make an extended appearance.
Yeah, the Symmetra could be definitely a demi-downer on the Doomfist play if it does actually stick, and it could also just be to get them out of spawn. You can either TP out of spawn, like NYXL is going to do, or you can TP to point. Never mind, NYXL is just going to have to TP to point to window. Yeah, it'll be both teams rushing to it.
Yeah, no, I like this. You know, this is not something that we see as particularly often these days. A lot of teams will TP out of spawn and then put this Symmetra player typically onto a Tracer or something similar of individual speed rather than team speed, but it's working well for the NYXL as they are going to be putting themselves onto point. Now, we're going to have to see if they can excel. Hello! A double punch off the map here is going to be able to find 2 players, now 3 down from Newburn, and 2 more going to be punched right into the wall. This might be a delicate team kill here, but the D.Va able to make it out with the skin of her teeth. Well,
they may get demeched. I'm not sure if they'll die. Oh, they just get out, I think, with like 60 HP. But that was great for NYXL. Newburn doesn't actually TP to window. They try and go all the way around, and I think TP into point. But I don't think they were expecting the Doomfist to come around. Punches the Zen right off, and that was just a rough start there for Scully Bones. But they get the revenge, actually.
Except Delicate just waiting. Fish in a barrel here. 2 players down and out once more. We see Vicious on that Moira, just unable to play the game so far. Newburn 2 fights in a row, dismissed by a single Doomfist. We've got that Meteor Strike locked and loaded. Vakesta removed from the fray, and I think Scully Bones will not be long for this Mortal Coil. All the same, Elmer on their lonesome in backside has to tuck tail and run. Already NYXL halfway done.
NYXL are just on a roll right now.
Yeah.
And this is when I said you can either exceed or feed on the Doomfist. You know, Delicate is exceeding right now. Already 2 more.
Oh, man. I mean, just farming for most elims in lobby. Elmer eliminated. It looks like we're going to see this Cassidy go down once more. Vakesta just can't get into the fray. I know Swag Check was the player we were waiting to see the performance of, but Delicate, my goodness, just stealing the show.
Yeah, when you have a Doomfist playing this well, you really don't need a whole lot from the rest of your team sometimes. And that's kind of where NYXL are sitting at the moment. Newburn have to find an answer for it. I don't even mind the Zenyatta for Discord Orb and Vakesta on the Cassidy to try and slow him down, but it's just not working. They're not getting the damage in time because of how efficient Delicate is.
Yeah, Delicate has just been play after play, round after round. Transcendence comes out too little too late. Elmer will lose that mech, and I believe that's all they really used it for, was to try and keep that mech alive, but unfortunately just unable to do so. It's going to be up to Vakesta's High Noon, a.k.a. the glorified reload, and even that is not going to get much done here. That's going to be 4 players down and out. Let's scrap things into a clean team elimination. NYXL dominating point number 1 of Lijiang Tower and putting themselves on map point.
Yeah, that's a scary start for everybody.
Undoubtedly
not just Newburn. I think that's a scary start for everybody in this tournament. NYXL are here to play in this. Clean 100-0. Did anybody even die from NYXL during that?
If there was a death, it was 1.
I think there was one. I'm pretty sure Scully got 1 on swag checked. I think that was it.
But yeah, that was just a field day.
Yeah, dude, that was NYXL just, putting out their feet like, all right, this is our objective. All right, cool. We'll hang out for a bit. Sadly for Newburn, sadly for Newburn, it is more environmental kills possible here for Delicate, as it will be Garden. I don't mind Vakesta, though. Go over to the Sombra, try and disrupt a little bit, even if it is more onto Chaconi and Velfate to disrupt the backline a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think the Sober pick makes a whole lot of sense here. It's going to be a simple play, but an effective one. Just putting yourself in a position in which you're going to be able to dismiss that Doomfist a little more often. It looked like Newburn kind of fails the luck check, as you mentioned, right? They get Garden instead of Control Center, where the environmental kills are a little less likely. But already Newburn trying to go slow and steady, looking for an opportunity to even enter the race, let alone try and win it. A lot of damage out. Swag Check takes a bit of their own. Immortality field down from Velfate. And Elmer in deep. Going to be hindered right into the fray. Delicate goes into the backline, returns to the team with a point cap already on their side. NYXL trying to find that time to delay the inevitable. Vakesta already down 5v4 NYXL.
Yeah, now they can just sit pretty on the backside of this objective and decide when they want to go in. There it is. Script just gets run over. That's it. First fight is going to be done by Scully Bones again. And what else can you say about Delicate? But honestly, the entire team, just as soon as they cap point, okay, we don't need to aggress right away. Yep. They can chill. They don't need to go in, and now they can go in, punish, and they're just going to leave Elmer. Well, they were going to leave Elmer outside of mech, but Swag Checked will finish off the job, and so far, it is all NYXL.
It is all NYXL, all DAY, if you know what I'm saying. This team has been coming out large and in charge. And we saw this playstyle pretty predominantly back in Overwatch 1 when it was 6v6. You know, it was a little easier to take one player out and the fight not really be over. But in a scenario where 20% of your team is eliminated before the fight can even start, just like that, now over half the team down and out. It's rare that we see a team return from a fight once they're forced into a 5v4 immediately. Delicate trick shot blocks the D.Va bomb, 60% on the board for NYXL, and 5 ultimates in the pocket.
Yeah, they just can chill at this point. Script's gonna go to the Widow to try and see if they can catch somebody out. Not ready, and Elmer will go over to the Roadhog to see if they can try and hook Delicate. But Script does actually find Swag checked. Maybe not checking their mirrors fully, and this may be the opener for Newburn.
This could be a big opportunity for Newburn. They took one player and one of the most powerful down and out. Script on the Widowmaker on a not Widowmaker-friendly map is going to make this difficult, but already 2 picks traded up. Vicesta does go down. A hero resurrection in the backline. Elmer has returned to the fray, but they lose Script in the moment of truth. Vicious just nowhere to run. Guardian Angel on cooldown, and Elmer going for a final stand. Unfortunately, the rollout is gone. The map comes to a close, and NYXL, in a near flawless fashion, albeit a couple of eliminations against them, win Lijiang Tower.
That's how you start off a tournament. If you're NYXL, clean 200-0 on Lijiang Tower to get it started. Newburn gonna be asking a lot of questions internally right now on how they wanted to attack this Doomfist, because it is just absolutely ruining their day. This is very first fight as they're able to get Scully Bones off. Script dies early, and this has set the tone for the entire map, Matt.
It really, really did. We did not see the appropriate turnaround that we needed before that map came to a close. But the good news, and it's funny to say it this way, the map's over. So you do get to go into the next one. You do get a chance to pace of play just a little bit going into our second map, and it is going to be Blizzard World. So this is our hybrid that we talked about. This is one where hypothetically a team can draw this, but with the way we're seeing things right now, I do not think a draw is going to be on the table. Traditionally, I believe that the losing team gets to pick the side that they're on, maybe, or the winning team gets to pick the side. I don't know, because maps are preset. I haven't worked with preset maps in a while, but either way, Blizzard World is coming up next.
Yeah, usually with it being loser pick, then it's winner pick side. With this being decided maps already, I would assume it's going to be loser picks map side. The only downside here for Newburn is that it's a dive map for a majority of this. And that just goes right into NYXL's hands. Like, that just goes perfectly into Delicate playing the Doomfist, and they don't even need to show any other cards if they want to. You talked about it in the very beginning of the show. Teams want to show as little as possible today to try and have it, have some things hidden for bracket play. Because it is just, single elimination. You just got to go and figure it out from there. And I think for now, if they can just run the Doomfist, map 2, win it, be done. This is their only streamed game of the day, I believe. Then they can just hide the rest of the strats to the off-stream games and get ready for tomorrow. But for now, Newburn, again, you at least, no matter what, you make it into bracket stage tomorrow. But you don't want to be, the 3rd or the 4th seed, because then you're starting off at a disadvantage. I want to see how they can bounce back, because that was a rough map. Like, to put it bluntly, it was rough.
Yeah, so Jesse, I do have good news about that, actually. So I just got confirmation from our production team. We are going to be changing, or not changing, perhaps we were given the wrong information earlier on, and we're correcting that information now, but it is going to be loser map pick. So it will be loser map pick into winner picking side. So Blizzard World, take everything I said, throw it out, gone, goodbye. Unlearn everything we just talked about, and we're going to be seeing the map choice of Newburn coming up in just a minute. Now, does it have to be hybrid? I don't know, but if it does, what hybrid map do we go to that isn't dive friendly? That is a tough question.
Yeah, not Blizzard World, not Numbani. Those are the two that immediately like no, like just no.
Yeah.
I would say maybe King's Row,
That's
just
what
because
I'm thinking.
Teams scrim it a lot. Granted, that also means Delicate could have, some Doom rollouts ready to go if they hit the streets of England, but I think that may not be the worst idea, because you can maybe play Ram and use Ravenous Vortex to at least try and limit where they can go, or something to that degree. So, Newburn, the power is in their hands at the moment to decide where we go for this second map. But like you said, it is a lot to ask for, because what could go wrong in that first map went wrong for Newburn.
I hate to say it, but I gotta agree. I really felt like some things were going wrong there. The team just wasn't able to recompress. They tried to swap. The swaps were taken out via environmental elimination, which makes it really difficult to look into. So we're going to be looking at Newburn. They're taking this time now to discuss what map do we want to play and how are we going to be able to do that well, because I think that was one of those situations where, I hate to say it, it was hard to really learn anything from that engagement. That really felt difficult. There was a lot of swapping. There were a lot of back and forth fights. So as we get confirmation now that we are going into King's Row, you might have been onto something with that Ramatra discussion.
Yeah, maybe that's where they want to go. I don't even mind the Roadhog pick that they showed at the very end there on Garden. It's not perfect, but it's something that at least you have the threat of the hook on the Doomfist. It doesn't always need to hit, but you can at least threaten it and be like, okay, if you go in right now, will you get hooked? Will you survive it? That may at least make Delicate slightly more hesitant to be as aggressive because especially at night market, they could go wherever the heck they wanted and it didn't really matter, right? Like they didn't have any sort of punish. So I wonder if that will be the case, and it will be NYXL on the defensive side first. So do they even go the defense Doomfist, or are they going to try something else?
I think there's a lot of dare I say, possibility to do this here for a myriad of reasons, right? I think you're looking at an opportunity in which you could play the Doomfist because it's working. You could try something else because you already showed off the Doomfist. You could swap to something else because you're just feeling silly, happy, confident, right? It was a very impressive first map. So I think there's a lot of ways that this can go correctly, but I think NYXL, they're just here. They keep doing what they do best. They're going to try to speedrun this series, win this map, and it's already over.
And I don't know if you saw it, Matt. We have a new tank in play. Script is on tank.
No, I missed it.
Elmer has went over to the Cassidy for Newburn. So I wonder, that's maybe something that, hey, if you want to play the Doom, cool. Let's throw Script on the Doomfist and see if we can make it work. NYXL, yeah, they're going to stick to the Doomfist. There's no reason for them not to at this point. But it will be more of a poke able here, as it'll be swag checked with the Mercy pocket. Yeah, Vikesta's gonna try and use it, but swag check actually using the head glitch really well.
Yeah, I mean, really. Oh yeah, wow, able to find 3 shots there without even showing a head hitbox, so a pretty big opportunity. But unfortunately, with the DPS and one of your supports looking just into that window, the other 4 have snuck right up into your front line, and Newburn looking for that opportunity to attack. But the Doom Mirror is about to be so interesting, Jesse. I really think Script needs to be playing 2 Delicate's game, because if you overextend, Delicate is going to rip you limb from limb. So we're going to have to see how well this plays out. The Maywall goes out from NYXL. Immortality Flip already down. A great shot onto Vikesta. Has to coach gun out of the way. Newburn getting ready to enter the fray. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it well today.
Yeah, honestly, not a horrible start here for Newburn. You don't have any casualties at least, and you realize the Ashe is alone, just not able to capitalize yet. It does drag Draconi over away from the rest of the team, and now a minute in, not a whole lot to say for either team.
Yeah, this is a slow and steady trying to win the race situation, and I'm just not sure that's the result we're going to be seeing. A great hinder onto Delicate does force their playstyle to get a little hyper-aggressive, and it's going to be able to still work well. 3 players down and out. Going to be adding all 5 to this kill feed in just a moment. Swag check, a beautiful 3K. Definitely play the game for the time being, and with nearly half the time bank already gone, and YXL trying to stabilize very early on.
You can tell Newburn's trying to play a little more slow. It's almost like bait Delicate to try and push in. But it's like Delicate knows, like, all right, I can just play our own hotel. I don't need to really go that much further out. Swag check is getting another one. Delicate does get finished off, though. So this could be an opening here for Newburn as soon as Elmer gets back.
Elmer has to get back to the fight quickly, though. We see Script returning onto the Orisa for the first one that we've seen today. Definitely not the last. Vikesta gets traded out for swag check. It's going to be a 4v4 Newburn. A big opportunity, but Delicate goes in, and with the help of a Blizzard Valkyrie combo, the rest of Newburn should be going down. Unfortunately, they do not break that 33% threshold, and they're not going to be able to stabilize into a draw scenario or a win condition. Half the time bank gone, but you almost got a third with half the time bank. Can you do it again with the second half?
There's definitely a possibility for them here, too, I think. They at least had a decent idea with how they wanted to go at that attack. It was just the NYXL. Yes, they waited their time. They had the Blizzard to go in. And there you go. Nice little headshot on the swag check. It'll be the orb that finishes it off. And this could be the opening, even though Rez is forced.
Rez is going to be forced early on. Swag check has Bob, and I really wouldn't hate to see him here. Just add that extra body to the fight, make it a little bit easier, but I think they're going to try to use it for that final engagement or maybe a recontest scenario, as we see Bob used quite often in that way. Scully Bones, that is a heck of a stagger here. Really unfortunate. Now both supports have gone down, and I think this metal horse will not be long for this world. Script falls, 1 minute left. 2 ultimates at the ready for NYXL. I mean, Jesse, the ultimates Newburn has, are they going to help?
60 seconds.
They could, but like you said, you know, the Deadeye can be really tricky to use. They try to use it there, and they actually do catch Draconi with it. Elmer was on the flank over on high ground. Nobody realized it, and they do find the Mercy.
Looking for the Mercy and looking to find just that. 2 players down and out. Bob does go down. A lot of time drawn out. This Baptiste Velfade just staying in the back line, keeping the team up and running for as long as humanly possible is exactly the play style we need to be seeing if this team wants to find success. And Vikesta going down increases the odds of that quite drastically. Terra Surge out actually could be huge, but unfortunately pulls the trigger too little, too late. Delicate double kill, getting ready to seal the deal here on King's Row.
Yeah, this should be the end here, but there will be at least a contest here from Newburn Elmer. Now on the Reaper, they get burned down. Velfate with the damage boost. And it'll just be everybody trying to touch, but will anybody even be able to get on? I don't know.
I don't think so. Yeah, that is going to be the wrap up there. Unfortunately, we see 0% on the board. NYXL need to cap 33%, just 1/3 of the original point, and they will walk away from this series with a 2-0 victory. A very quick first series of the day.
A very quick first series of the day so far as NYXL. They're sitting pretty. What else can you really say, as they've just been playing this thing perfectly? There's not a whole lot you could really criticize on their end. And honestly, even for Newburn, it's not like they're doing a whole lot wrong.
I agree.
It is just that NYXL is doing everything right so far. And even though, yes, you get some of these picks on the Widow, right? You are able to get Chaconi when they get that res. But the team, NYXL, can still stall out. They get the Mercy back in play. And they can rely on Swag Check. They can rely on Delicate to finish off the fight, even without the Mercy in play. So now a tie is the best that Newburn would be able to get out of this map. But it's going to be a very tall order considering how, you know, the first little bit of this series is gone.
A couple of role swaps on, not role swaps, excuse me, hero swaps on the side of Newburn as well. We're seeing the Alari come back out. We're seeing a Reaper, which we saw just barely at the end of that first half. So going into this next half here, we're going to look to see if this can make the magic happen that this team is looking for. But unfortunately, I think NYXL is getting ready to be DONE. You know what I mean? I think this team is just moments away from winning our first series.
I do too, especially with how they've been playing. Delicate's playing this Doomfist perfectly, being enough of a nuisance, but also allowing the rest of their team to capitalize on the chaos that is going on. But it will be Script trying to go in, but yeah, Swag Checked already in the feed for 2.
Okay, wowza. That's going to be 2 players down for the Swag Checked, a third down to Delicate, and I'm really not sure this is winnable from here on out for Newburn. NYXL coming out large and in charge. Delicate with 3, Swag Checked with 2, and that is a 33% on the board, which means NYXL will be the victors of our first series of the day.
NYXL Jr. getting the 2-0 victory to start off the group stage, and a great start for them. In a Group A, they will start off 1-0. Newburn fall to 0-1. But what else can you say about this team, man? They are just disgustingly good, no matter where you look. And if I'm any team in this tournament, I don't care if you're in this group, you're in a different group, you got to be at least a little bit scared right now of NYXL, because they are playing extremely well. And even though, again, they're not playing a meta comp, they're not playing the Malga, it is their meta right now in this tournament. The Doomfist worked excellently.
Yeah, it really, really did. And I wonder if we're going to be seeing a little bit more Doomfist later down the line. So we've got a couple more series getting ready for you guys in just a couple of minutes. So we're going to throw it to a break here, get our next series ready, and we'll be right back with some more VESL Overwatch one-off in just a bit. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the VESL Overwatch one-off tournament. I'm still Succulents, joined by Twin Salty. We're jumping into our second series of the day. We've got the Palisades versus NCVA Bears, the North Carolina Virtual Academy Bears. We're going to be seeing in just a bit. Now, Jesse, I have the opportunity. I've seen both these teams before, so at least some of these players are going to look at least a little bit familiar, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, no, a few familiar faces to the VESL stream here on broadcast. And, like you said, you saw a few of these teams that are playing this weekend previously. So I'm curious, where's your head at going into this one? Are you leaning towards NCVA? Are you leaning towards Palisades? Where's the Septulence brain leaning to?
Palisades are very good. Palisades are very good. I'll put that out there right now. They've got Rin in the support. They've got Rice Grant in the support. They've got Rhino as well in that tank department. Rhino loves to play that Roadhog, and they're definitely just a team that obviously I know a lot more about. I've seen a lot more of, but I have seen Virtual Academy play before. Going into this, though, Jesse, I think, I'm ready to give it to Palisades. The last in-person VESL event I got to be at, I believe they were third or second place. I believe they were on the podium somewhere. So I'm hoping that they're able to bring that same level of play here this week.
Yeah, would love to see that same level of play come out as we will start up here. VESL, and it'll be on Ilios well. Saturn will spawn in just a tad late here for the Bears. So maybe just a slight advantage to Palisades to begin the fight. But both of them, hey, it is well, and you go hog for it. I respect it,
You gotta respect the hustle here, trying to make that happen. Both Roadhogs coming out, but both of them are afraid to play the well a little bit. Social goes into Lighthouse, trying to get a little bit of space, or Windmill, excuse me. That's going to be one hook missed, another found, and Social down. In the blink of an eye, Palisades find themselves in a 5v4 scenario. The best possible pick is that Roadhog, and when he goes down, it's hard to turn that fight around.
Yeah, as soon as you lose the hog, it is just so difficult to turn around, because you can see right there the output that it can have, and you also just don't have that burly tank to take all of the damage as you're trying to move on forward. But, look at the rest of the team. I think speed being on this Mei is actually way bigger of an impact than people may think, because you can just wall off the supports from Social, and they may just be able to burn for free. But all of a sudden, Saturn, you're a little lost, buddy.
Yeah, that was definitely a fascinating choice. Saturn caught in the back line. Rin is going to be traded out, though, in the blink of an eye, and you're looking to see that Kiriko gameplay from Rin. I remember making a comment back last time I saw them that I wanted to see Rin on that Kiriko more often, and I'm glad to see it here. Whether it ends up working or not, I think it's a great call. Speed sticking to this Mei as well. It's funny, the name almost implies, that's the one thing Mei takes from you, is your speed, and now they're almost making a statement here with that pick. 50% online for Palisades. They lost their tank. They've got to backpedal a bit, but with a Blizzard engagement just around the corner, I think this next fight could easily be theirs.
Oh, it could easily be theirs, especially with the ultimates that they have. And they're going to use the Kitsune Rushes to go in right away.
Kitsune rush in, and Sojourn out. By golly, that is a player down and out. I believe the supports will be joining them in the Shadow Realm in just a moment here. Ulysses is going to be able to stay up. The Blizzard is big enough, and with 2 players found, that's going to be a clean slate lineup here for the Palisades. A fight win in the blink of an eye. 2 ultimates used, 56% and counting.
Yeah, already, like you said, just a quick little few ults, and you're able to turn it around. You still keep the overclock, which honestly is the one arguably they needed to keep for this next fight, as it will be Drawstrange, who is also going to have that overclock. So maybe a little bit of a Sojourn duel here in this next fight, as it will be the Diva swap now for Social. And they are almost dead.
And the mech just barely gets you up and over that wall. Marvel's Tokyo is going to fall here. The Diva is pulled in. Back. Kiriko cleanse, keeps the team alive. We've got the Rising Sun coming out. It finds a little bit of damage, but did Ulysses give their life for it? 47%, a wall in the way, nowhere to run. Rice Grain down, but support is traded through and through. Home Hog out, Saturn back down with only 5 seconds left. The Diva mech gone. I believe we are looking at, a Palisades victory here on point number 1.
Yeah, Palisades, just one little fight did not go their way, but the rest of it is all Palisades over on, 100-19 here. And honestly, that's what you can do with the Roadhog comms today. Granted,
yes,
they typically get shut down because Maga exists. And a lot of the time, it just shuts it down because there's so much damage, the Roadhog can't really comprehend it. So I wonder if that's where, the virtual bears will be able to go to as we're in Ruins. But honestly, for this map, it's more pressure on the DPS, especially Milelove and Drawstrange. It's a very long-range map. You have a lot of long sight lines. We often see, Widowmakers and Hanzos, Sojourn, stuff like that. there'll be a lot of pressure on those two during this one. As that's me, Rhino, who will anticipate the Mauger coming out from social, and they will go the D.Va themselves.
I'm so glad you caught this. It is a counter swap here. They go off the Roadhog because they're anticipating the swap from social. Saturn on the Bastion, though, will be a consistent issue no matter who you're playing, really, because that Bastion just outputs an unbelievable amount of damage. It's going to be up to speed to try and kind of get that deflect in early, take that Bastion out of the way, and this is a stronger fight already for Virtual Academy. They found themselves in a good position. Deflect out. A lot of damage dealt. All 10 players still up and standing. Saturn maybe no social is the first to go down. A beautiful railgun shot removes that tank from the fight, and it's over before it can even really begin. The rest of the Cyber Virtual Academy, North Carolina Virtual Academy, will fall.
Yeah, all the bears tumble on down, and you can tell, like, hey, they're trying to make the effort to counter the Hog. It just sucks that the Hog was not there anymore for Palisades.
Let's swap again.
That'll bring the DPS swaps in. It'll be Saturn going over to the Cassidy to try and deal with honestly Speed and Love. The Junkrat play is an interesting one because honestly, you're just trying to go the outright damage.
Yeah.
And that's really about it.
Yeah, Jesse, you know me. You know I love my Junkrat.
Of course.
I ain't gonna complain to see him, but I do agree it is a little bit weird. Junkrat is definitely a difficult character to make happen, but I think especially at this level of play, at this roughly high school level, that playing a character you're comfortable with is so much more important than playing a character that's meta, because it's really not going to be in meta very often. Maybe the best high school teams in the country, perhaps you're approaching kind of that meta territory, but at this level of play, often you're seeing players around Diamond to Masters-ish, even the best players kind of in the high school scene, that's typically where we see them. So in those ranks, you don't really have to worry about living up to meta yet. And I think Speed's 4K on Genji there is a great example of that. Genji, not exactly the most meta character these days.
No, even though, the old school Genji mains, are, praying for it at this point in the Season 11 patch that's coming on Thursday, but it is, you love to see a team, like, even if it isn't meta, they're making it work. We saw that last game. We're seeing it this game so far as Kitsune Rush is used. Nobody falls, though, yet.
Nobody falls quite yet. Oh, the Rising Sun going to be eaten by Rhino here. A hungry, hungry Rhino. No relation. Speed is taken down by social early on. So it's going to be a 5v4 in favor of Virtual Academy for the first time in a long time. With social, that charge could have been a bit of an overextension. They give their life for the cause. The Suzu is out. The Deep Bomb after ready for Rhino, and social will go down to Rin. That triple damage headshot comes in clutch toward the end. Mile Love does fall. Saturn traded out, and while Virtual Academy kept it close, it's going to be a no cigar scenario. You hate to see it, but Palisades walk away with a map 1 victory. 100-0 here on Ruins.
Yeah, that is just perfect. And yeah, 216 total Palisades. They're going to keep up the similar momentum that NYXL Junior had in the last one. And we clean 2-0 to start off the series on Control. And yes, we've seen already two of the favorites, arguably, for this tournament. NYXL, we're seeing Palisades right now. And we're getting to see why these teams are the favorites, or some of these favorites going into this week, because they have the pop-off performances like this. Mile Love popping off. Rhino showed the flexibility as well, not just playing the Hog. They can show, hey, we're going to show you the D.Va when you think we're going the Hog, and actually counters the Mauga extremely well. A great start here for the Palisades, and, this is the start. Again, they need to try and earn that #1 seed here in Group D.
Yeah, and even if it was the ability to read the counter swap more so than the counter swap itself, it's a very impressive play at this level of play. We are seeing those teams go out and they say, okay, well, they're going to counter this, we're going to be able to play that, and it works very well. You get a little lucky predicting a predicted counter swap, of course, but it does work out well for Palisades at the end of the day. Now I'm going to wait for confirmation from our production team, but perhaps our next map will be Blizzard World this time. I would be excited to see it. We have not had the chance to see it yet today, so I would definitely look forward to it. And yes, it is in fact going to be Blizzard World. So Jesse, looking at the composition we saw from Palisades and the ability to swap so effortlessly, what is kind of the team comp goal here going into Blizzard World?
So I say if you're on the attack, if you're Palisades, you probably want to show more of the D.Va, because you could make a dive work here. It's also going to be that or like poke or rush. You can also make a lot of things work here on the offensive side.
Agreed.
Especially going into, Streets phase. It is very much a dual leveled a part of the map to where a D.Va could be nice. You can challenge high ground, easily drop back down, and kind of do the bouncing game. Same thing with Winston. If you're on the defense, though, Sigma is always great on this map. Honestly, if you can set up one of your supports and back, maybe a hits game with that personal shield, they can just chill. And that back high ground, it's very difficult for teams to try and push into that. So, again, it all comes down to comfort at the end of the day. The way that, Soj is playing right now, for Palisades, you gotta assume they're probably gonna go the poke route or have the Sojourn equipped in anything they run because of how well it is performing right now for Love.
Yeah, I mean, it's going well. And Sigma, one of my favorite characters, just in general, nothing to do with how good he is or bad is out of game. I just think he's neat. I really like him. So I'm always down to see some Sigma here, especially on the defense, as you mentioned, at least for first pointer. I mean, confidently, I think Sigma can be played on all three of Blizzard World. I really do think we could be seeing him make an appearance here. But it's all up to these teams. We are at that level of comfortability, and I think maybe seeing something a little bit more. I hesitate to say wonky, but maybe just less common. A Pharah or an Echo, we see them pretty often. We could be seeing some more Widowmaker for some players that just want to show off a little bit. There's a lot of possible options down the line.
Oh, there's a ton of options here that we could be seeing from these teams, and especially if you're NCVA, what do you want to do here? Because it seems like at times, I think the Kiriko really worked. Like the Kiriko worked well. I just think, Marvel's Tokyo got caught out maybe a couple of times. They would swift step in, use cleanse to save their tank, and then tank would get out, and they wouldn't. And that is kind of the risk you run sometimes when you're on the Kiriko. So I wonder if there's playing a little more passive, if they want to try and run maybe the Baptiste with it instead, just so there's not as much of a weight on their shoulders to get all that healing out. You can maybe be a little more aggressive with those kunais. That or maybe more a Lari action, put the tank on the other side in place a little bit, because they were just having, the time of their life out there for the most part. So a lot of different things the Bears could do in this map 2 to force this map into a map 3, whether it be a 1-1, or if we somehow see that tie that we, very rarely see on Hybrid, then we could go 1-0 going into map 3. But it's not like last series to where it did feel like it was NYXL series to lose.
Yeah,
I do feel like there is at least a little bit of hope here for the Bears, because there was some promise in some fights that made it close. It was just that they couldn't always finish off those fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just a little bit close, but unfortunately, like you said, it tends to be the second half of those fights where we really did see those teams losing those engagements later on. So if we can see a little bit more action from Virtual Academy to win fights just more consistently. Now, of course, that's the point of the game, right? Is win fights forehead. But at the end of the day, if they're able to win them, just target focus, a little bit more coordinated, a little bit more locked in, they kind of prevent the end of the fight from happening because it all happens so quickly. That's where they're going to be able to dismantle Palisades, I think.
Yeah, that I agree. That 1000%. That's how they could potentially disrupt Palisades, because Palisades, at least so far, they're a team that you can tell their communication's great. All right, we're gonna hug the wall, and then go in right away as soon as the hog dies. And that coordination is great, especially at this level. But sometimes if you can frustrate them a little bit, then that starts to get a little more disruptive. And you know, I've even seen that at the collegiate level. It happens, right? Like if something goes wrong, how can a team adapt? How do they get the comms back to where they need to be? So I wonder if that was also the case for NCVA for a little bit. It's like, all right, take a breath, figure out how we want to go at this. It's not like an impossible thing to counter, like a very good Doomfist that we saw in that last series. This is a very doable situation depending on where your comfort picks are.
I have to agree. I think this is unbelievably doable here one way or another. But while these teams get ready, while they strategize what they'd like to do next, we are going to go ahead and throw it to a super short break. So while we're using this break, go ahead, get a snack, get some water. We'll come right back here because we got plenty more Overwatch 2 left for you on the other side. We'll see you right back here in just a few. What is going on, everybody? And welcome back. Thank you so much for waiting with us during that break. We did get a couple of things figured out, but guess what? They're figured out, and that's why we're back. We're going to be jumping into map number 2 of this series in just a moment here. I'm still Seth, joined by Twin Salty and Jesse as we jump into Blizzard World here. How are we feeling, my man?
Feeling good, honestly. Yeah, once we got, the few little things figured out that we had to get figured out going into this map, it will be Blizzard World, and it will be Palisades on the defense again. So, curious to see, so far already 2 for 2 on the team who wins first map.
Yep.
I'd like you to go on the defense first. So,
it's common practice.
That'll be, it's common practice. Like, hey, if we're feeling good, just stop them early. Don't let them build momentum on their attack, and we can just finish the job on our attack. That's, typically the common look at it, but, things change a lot of the time. So Palisades, they will go that SIG that you were talking about, and, we were both kind of talking about a bit, especially on defense. It's really good. Mile levels stay on the Sods that they were so well at last time, and speed will go to the Ash for that double hit scan look, and for the Bears, kind of still piecing it together here as we get ready, but overall, it'll just be the D.Va variant of kind of like a D.Va dive with hit scan DPS to kind of go with it. It's an interesting look here.
Yeah, interesting. It definitely is. Rhino also just playing front-facing low ground. It is really surprising here that I'll be playing on the high ground with the rest of the team. Instead, wants to get up close and personal with Virtual Academy. Is that a group call? Is that just a confidence thing? I'm not sure, but clearly it's working well enough as Mile Love has already found Ulysses out of the equation. That Ana down and out makes Social a much more prompt target here. That healing has been halved. Marvel's Tokyo would have to give their life to try and keep this D.Va up. You better boost her away, my friend. And they still just aren't able to. This is what happens when you overstay your welcome. Losing that D.Va mech. Another, dare I say, 20 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, it could be even longer. Social is very low. Might get taken out of mech here, but they're actually getting close. 30% away. But it's Saturn who actually falls, and the Bears are just stuck. And yeah, they will start to fall down.
Like dominoes, NCVA will begin to fall. Palisades, they've got a really strong defensive composition here. 2 mid to long range DPS, a mid to close range tank, and then 2 very versatile, very high healing healer support players. So this is going to be fascinating. And Rin, Rin just 4 perfect nano targets. There's not a wrong choice here. So that nano probably going to be popped as soon as it is available. And Palisades just absolutely running away with this strong defense. Almost half the time bank gone already.
Yeah, and already that opening pick gone is Strange will get taken out. Yes, they gain the high ground control up by the roller coaster, but at the cost of arguably the DPS you need the most. And no, Bionade goes out on Social. They'll have to back up for a second as Strange will actually come back onto the Summer, but it just seems like they can't get a full 5 here, Matt.
Just cannot find their footing, unfortunately. This is one of those scenarios we talked about earlier where the team, I'm not going to use the word boomed, but they kind of get locked into a specific mindset and they try to follow through and they continue trickling in. It's a waterfall scenario, and I think we are going to be seeing that really hurt NCVA as they just have not had that full 5, the closest they've gotten, and still Social just fighting for their life. Gonna lose that mech early. A lot of damage to be dealt here. Social down and out.
Yeah, this is just, it's getting bad here. Rhino will actually get the nano. They're going to try and go in. Force it out a little bit as they almost catch Ulysses, but they're actually able to assist in the kill of Marvel's Tokyo on the other end. So 1:30 and so left here for NCVA Bears to try and get something going. They haven't used a single ultimate quite yet, so that is the only advantage. The disadvantage is Palisades only had to use nano, and they didn't even need to use it. They kind of just decided to use it to help clean up. So it's going to be even more tricky now for the Bears to push in.
Only 77 seconds left on the clock here, so this engagement I think is going to be the last kind of full team squadron engagement that we're going to be seeing, because later down the line it is going to be a little bit harder with no time left on the clock. Sombra translocates in, almost gets the hack, but oh my goodness, just deleted! The Doctor is down. Drow Strange falls in speed. Taken out by that late bomb from Social to 4v4. Continuing from right there. Marvel's Tokyo. A perfect beat drop here. Runic Flux goes up. Overclock out. They go up in like a bag of rocks. Ulysses comes down. The D.Va mech about to be down and out. Marvel's Tokyo critical condition. Just trying to find one on their way. Not able to do it, but Rhino gets that vengeance pick. Loses the mech. Last player standing. Even one more pick could really keep the dream alive, as Drow Strange is back in the fight as well. This is the closest the NCVA has been. They might be able to clutch this out.
They could be able to use Rice Grain. They have the Suzu able to use. Speed's able to catch Strange, though, as soon as they get back into the fight.
This is where things are going to be tough. Strange goes down. Speed has that Bob online with 20 seconds left on the clock. All they've got to do is just run it out. Bob catches the Lucio. Perfect positioning down that mid straight. Ulysses down. Drokio down. That Cassidy not long for this world. Social had that nano boost, but wasn't able to do much with it other than stay alive a little bit longer. Myo Love finds two, trying to put a nice little bow on top of Blizzard World. And that's going to be the action down and out. NCVA, they come close, but it's going to be no cigar. 0% on the board, and Palisades 33% away from our second 2-0 of the day.
They, again, better looks from here, the Bears here so far. Like, they've been getting there. And honestly, I thought they were going to get at least some percent. Thought they'd get a tick, but it's just the fact that Rice Grain doesn't die. They kind of just stand as, all right, going to take some pop shots, going to make you at least a little bit uncomfortable. Able to pop the Suzu and just stall as Palisades able to get back into the action on time. And it'll be a whopping 0% on the point here for the virtual Bears. And similar to last series, just got to hope for a tie for map 3 here for the Bears, which is granted on this map it can be done, right? This is a very defensive sided portion of the map, but it's definitely difficult when you only have a tick to work with compared to 100%.
I have to agree. Just a full hold, it would have to be a full hold. It would have to be completely and totally every single fight won from here on out. And with how close these fights have been, even the ones that NCVA does win, they're winning with 1 or 2 players left standing. You're not going to be able to do that on the defense here. So let's see if they can come out strong. Let's see how they choose to approach, because right now it is not a single hero swap on either side. Oh, excuse me. Ulysses is back on Alari. That's the only swap.
Yeah, that's the only swap is Ulysses going back over to the Alari. Why not? And Social will try and go have their try at the Sigma here. It's about to be Rhino, who, granted, you could tell, NC Bears had the right idea. They want the Diva on the attack against this, against the Sigma. Last time, the Sigma won outright. Palisades will try and change that tune here, though. And Speedy with the Genji, curious if he's actually going to be able to get in, because the Cassidy could make that a little more difficult, or, that sort of virus to the face.
The virus to the face. Speed goes down to Social early. A really strong start for NCVA. They're going to burn 30 seconds off the clock, almost to a minute already. So this is a really strong start. And Palisades, they're slowing down with that player offline. Rhino gets hacked as well. Drawstrains makes it out by the skin of their teeth, my goodness. But they make it out regardless. And I like this a lot from the Bears. They're really slowing down their style of play, but it's working because it forces the Palisades to readjust to them. And they're really utilizing this high ground exactly as they should be. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, they're not giving up this high ground as easily as Palisades did, and that's really working in their favor. Rhino just keeps getting hacked, virus, but Speed will find the first.
Speed finally, it's just that Genji aggression of slamming into that player over and over until finally an elimination comes through. Ulysses is down. That's 2 players missing for NCVA, and I believe this could be the beginning of the end. Drawstrange disappears. Myo Love finds that second elimination, turns it into a third with Marvel's Tokyo, and Social finally down. 3 players on site, 2 minutes gone, in a second map a win for the Palisades, making them the victors of our second series of the night.
Yeah, Palisades 2-0, and they will be currently on the top of Group D. It's a great way for them to start it out, as they'll, see how the rest of this Group D shakes up so far. UNCG Brawlers up on the Drizzly Drakes, but a great start, honestly, for them for the rest of this tournament. Over the next few days, fighting for their share of $15,000, and that is what you needed. But honestly, if you're NCVA, you take this as a learning lesson. Like, absolutely. Hey, we got pushed around a little bit in this one, but it is group stage. Everybody makes it into knockouts tomorrow. Have a lot of VOD review coming up, I'm guessing, in the next, 12 to 24 hours here for the Bears. But that is, at least you get pushed around early. I'd rather for a team to get pushed around now where they can afford the loss rather than later on in that bracket, which, one off game and you're done.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I completely agree. I think that is what we're going to be looking like moving into this series, is just seeing that VOD review going into tomorrow where things get a little bit more intense, but you've got some VODs to learn from, and that's what's going to matter in tomorrow's matchups. But enough about tomorrow. We've got 2 more series here today, so we're going to go ahead and throw it to a bit of a break here and get our 3rd series ready for you. We'll see right back here with some more VESL one-off action in just a bit. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the VESL Overwatch 1-off tournament. I am Septimus, joined by Twin Salty. We're now jumping into our third of 4 Overwatch series here tonight. We are seeing Winston's fan club versus Nerf Genji. So, in terms of opinions of Overwatch characters, we're going to get the chance to see both sides. But Jesse, this is, we've officially hit the point. This is no longer every team's first game.
Yeah, this is the second game for both of these teams. So Winston's fan club won 2-0. In their first one, Nerf Genji lost 0-0. 0-2, I should say. So, you know, different results here at the beginning of the day, but curious to see if Nerf Genji can get it back on track in this one. But Winston's fan club, I believe, is the projected favorite in this group. So, could be a way for them to just be like, hey, we're going to start off 2-0 and put ourselves in a phenomenal spot to get that #1 seed here in Group C.
And now they're just 2 maps away. I believe our first map is, in fact, going to be Busan, and we're going to be seeing what these players can do here. We see Winston locked in already on one side. So, oh no, I've been bamboozled. It's not Winston's fan club playing Winston. It is Nerf Genji instead. So this is definitely interesting. We're seeing a lot of heroes that we've not had the chance to see so far today. We're seeing a Tracer on the board. We're seeing a Winston. This is going to be interesting.
Okay. I don't mind this. I love how get scammed is. I mean, maybe that's part of it. Like, we just got scammed, man. I ain't gonna lie. We were thinking, you know, Winston's gonna get pulled out, and it did not for Winston's fan club.
It's us. We got scammed.
Yeah, we are the ones that got scammed. And Golden Eagle, well, they almost got killed.
Yeah, no, that is my favorite Widowmaker bug in the game, is when she goes down ADS and we don't, as the viewer. That definitely cracks me up. Same thing with Moira when she coalescences and it doesn't show up. That is my personal favorite visual bug in the game, but hopefully we're going to see it in just a little bit here. Get scammed, goes in for an environmental kill. Not going to be... No, excuse me, that might be 2! That's 1 down, and the second not far behind. Both supports from Nerf Genji deleted from the Mortal Coil. That Lucio should be gone. That was a Widowmaker. I'm going crazy. Widowmaker down and out, and poor Winston... Joshy Washi getting put in a spin cycle here. Sweatpants takes him down, and Winston's fan club an aggressive early win.
Man, Joshy Washi's getting put in a, you know, this absolute circle by their own fan club. That's a little, that's like a criminal offense right now from Winston's fan club. Yeah, get scammed. They're just going to chill over there on coast. They're going to make sure, hey, you're not going on coast because I'm just going to punch you off right away as soon as you try it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the same thing happen with Delicate back on Lijiang Tower in our first series of the day. It's about that consistency of just having a tank that can knock you off the map in an instant. It's going to be a 1-1 trade here. Imogen does go down, but Akko does fall to that trade. It's going to be a 4v3 in favor of Winston's fan club, only losing that Sojourn. And Get Scam takes down 2 players in the blink of an eye. Floor trying to explore the rest of the map, but instead going to explore the Shadow Realm as Joshy Washi has sent them straight to it. A great opportunity here from Winston's fan club to just rack up these additional percentages in this stagger play style. Get Scammed might go down, but especially with that B-trap on their side, I think they really have a huge opportunity to stay alive for an extended period of time, well into, dare I say, maybe the 70s, if not higher, especially now so that Mango Slayer has gone down.
Yeah, they made us win this outright. You know, Primal Rage does get used here from Joshy Washi, and they're able to isolate Sweatpants because of it. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, but as I say, that Golden Eagle is able to find a second.
Going to be 2 players down. The supports are missing. What a turn from Get Scammed. Takes Golden Eagle down and out. 25% left on the clock here. And I believe Winston's fan club maybe keeping the ball rolling in terms of speedy victories for our teams thus far, at least here for downtown. They've got this in the bag.
Maybe not yet. It's hard to tell right now if they're actually going to be able to finish this off. You know, yeah, Kitsune Rush is used. Yeah, never mind. It's done. Imagine is able to find 2 more, and it is just the poor old Cassidy left to their own devices. They try and use the Deadeye. No dice to be found. And imagine, well, they get taken out, but their team should be able to finish.
A victory for Winston's fan club. 100-0 there on downtown. And I would say that is maybe the second best Doomfist stage of the 2. I think the next one would, of course, be Mecha Base. I think that can work really well for Doomfist, and I have no idea which one that is. That's Gardens, okay. So things are looking pretty good here on Gardens coming up next, and we're looking to see if Get Scam continues to dominate here on this Doomfist. Mango Slayer on the Brigida, I'm hoping to see you work well as a counter.
I like it as an idea. I wonder if there's going to be too much for them to try and focus on, though. Because Plur has also kind of just been lurking around, putting a lot of focus on Golden Eagle and Akko. So I wonder if that was a part of the thought process. They're actually going to swap off of it, though. Mega Slayer go over to the Alari, maybe just some more upfront damage to try and keep them away that way. Sweatpants already to the point. trying to make sure they can get a nice little position early.
Keeping that positioning early is going to be pivotal for this team. And Sweatpants with that speed boost helps a hinder early on to get scammed. Gets rid of a good chunk of their HP, but not nearly enough to take them out of the fray. 6 seconds until that point unlocks, and we're looking to see if Winston's fan club finds an elimination before then. Joshiwashi goes in very aggressively, and it's looking like Explore and Joshi are going to lose their lives for it. Mango Slayer not alive in the Mortal Coil any longer, and this fight over before it can even begin.
Yeah, as soon as you think it's starting up, it's already done, man.
Yep.
It just like that. As Plur will actually go over to the Reaper now. So, curious how they want to go at that, because yes, it is maybe less of a counter for those squishies in the back line, but it will keep Joshiwashi away way more on the back line, and also maybe help a little bit with the mobility to help with get scammed. So it could work out, or not.
Well, or not. We got 3 eliminations here on the side of Nerf Genji, though they are going to be able to find themselves in a victory position for a while. Plor may go down early, but it looks like, nope, okay, gets scammed. Doesn't make it out either. Spicy Pepper eliminated, and a little bit, I think 9% earlier than downtown. Nerf Genji does get the opportunity to try and flip this point.
Yeah, first percentage of the day for them after almost getting some earlier on. So, hey, nice little start here for Nerf Genji. Maybe starting to settle in. Honestly, Golden Eagle is the win condition for them so far. They've actually been able to get a lot of nice shots lined up. Plor has been non-existent so far this round.
Yeah, Plor really just not able to do much with these hero selects. Already has to use that Wraith form to get out of the equation, but gets scammed, gets over-aggressive, and will go down. That gives Nerf Genji the opportunity to not only take the lead, but really run with it for a little while here. Let's see if they're going to be able to get an advantage. This actually may be the first game we see where things go to that third and final stage.
Yeah, it's looking like we may actually get there. As, you know, so far, 41%, they have the lead, but it will be Winston's fan club trying to push back in, but gets scammed, gets taken out again.
A tough scenario, gets scammed, eliminated, but it looks like a couple of ultimates on the side of Winston's fan club. They say, we don't need no tank, just get us right back into the fray. Plor gets an elimination, turns it into a double kill. They're able to take both supports out of the way. That's a complete total team kill. Winston's fan club trying to come back into the mix here. 59% on the board for Nerf Genji, though. Winston's fan club got to dig themselves out of this losing hole.
Yeah, this should be... I think this is doable, though. As Plor is very slow to their ult, 85%, though, and getting eerily close to it. Suzu is still on the board here from Mango Slayer, who made the very early swap onto the Kiriko instead of the Alari. They're just kind of waiting for them to try and commit, but yeah, already, ultimate used from Gets Game just to make sure they stay up.
Ultimate's used, and this could be a huge flip, and just in time for Winston's fan club to take the lead. Nerf Genji going to use only 1 or 2 ultimates to be able to take that back. The visor comes out, the Primal Rage stacks in all the same, and now Winston's fan club, the team that started so strong, really starting to struggle a bit as Nerf Genji rapidly approaches that final fight territory.
Nerf Genji's really adapted well to the Doomfist. This is something that, you know, we saw the Doomfist a lot earlier with NYXL, you know, and it wasn't able to get countered efficiently by Newburn. This time around, Nerf Genji is able to really counter it well, and as I said, Golden Eagle just gets smashed into a pillar.
Oops. Oh, oops. Oh, oops. Oh no. Okay, well, Winston's fan club, they really do come in large and in charge. They're a beautiful Death Blossom from Plor, takes 2 players out of the way. The rest of them begin to fall, and Winston's fan club, they've got 1 ult to work with, and it's only a beat here. So Nerf Genji, they've got a huge opportunity to win this next fight and possibly the stage, depending on how long they sit on these upcoming ultimates.
Yeah, especially if they use Kitsune Rush to initiate in. They have the Coalescence if they want to heal up Joshiwashi from a ways away. A lot of stars are aligning here for Nerf Genji to try and get us to Mecha Base, and that's the great start. It's an Ajax!
It's an Ajax. That's an Ajax. That is a Lucio beat. 0 days since.
No!
First one to type it in chat. A beat that could have won them the stage is unfortunately not going to be here. Spicy Pepper only a couple of seconds away from that Kitsune Rush. Going to be canceled out maybe by a Coalescence. I'm surprised that Nerf Genji's held on to that Coalescence for so long. It's not an ultimate we see typically held onto in this manner. Gets scammed, maybe going down in the blink of an eye here. Tries to shield their way out with only 20 HP on the board. Barely stays up and running. Sweatpants right back into the fight to get removed from it. 3 players down. Coalescence. And oh, my visual bug isn't even here this time. We're looking at these teams to continue this power. But we're going all the way to stage number 3, it seems.
Going to stage 3, it actually does exist, chat. Stage 3 does exist on Control. I'm at least glad, you know, Sweatpants like, yeah, 0 days since. They're like, all right, that's, we can talk about it once, and then we're just gonna push it to a side. Never never actually happened again, considering, you know, everybody, we've all kind of been there, right? You know, we've all been there a couple of times.
Not me.
That is
never ever in
that
my
is
whole
not
life, never
that is
in my
such
whole
cap.
life ever have I ever misused an ultimate. Ever, never in my whole life ever.
I need to get the receipts.
'Cause
I need some
let me
receipts.
tell you what, brother, you are not getting them.
But going into Mecha Base, Joshiwashi, they'll go to the Roadhog. So even though, yes, the Winston, it worked well over there on Sanctuary, Mecha Base, it can be a little more tricky. There's not a lot of space for the Winston to actually jump around. So instead, they will go to the kind of, hey, instead of trying to dive your backline, I'm just going to try and hook you right here and then.
Yeah, going for that hook early on can be really beneficial. We're looking to see, though, if Joshy can find it. Golden Eagle on the Junkrat. Again, we know I love him. I'm very excited to see him in that Junkrat Roadhog combo. Definitely a lethal one moving later into the moment. But unfortunately, no value found quite yet. Floor goes in, gets a good stack of damage. Joshy does miss that hook, but it's only, what, a 6-second cooldown now these days? So you're going to get it back pretty darn soon here. Crazy to think that ability has been as high as 13 seconds before. And then it's as low as 6 right now, and the ability is the exact same that it always was. The game continues to change around it. 2 players down on the side of Winston's fan club.
Yeah, 2 down and Nerf Genji. So, well, they get the cap, but I don't know, actually. Yeah, Winston's fan club, they're just going to push right back in. Imagine's going to be on the high ground. Golden Eagle taken out. And a nice little regress here for Winston's fan club. It'll be a very quick turnaround. Only 14% for Nerf Genji before it gets turned back around. Implore, I do like the Genji more. And it's not the Genji. The Tracer more here than the Reaper. I just felt like the Reaper, even though, yes, we're against a Hog now, you were just playing way better on the Tracer and keeping Akko a little bit more occupied.
17 seconds only put up on the board for Winston's fan club so far. Gets scammed. A great punch could come through. Straight into that Junkrat. Straight into the Shadow Realm. Golden Eagle down and out. 5v4 in favor of Winston's fan club. Continued aggression out from Akko and now into that Moira. All the same. The rest of the team down or trying to get out alive. Joshy falls. Kiriko left alone. Swift steps her way back to safety. Winston's fan club will get somewhere, I'd say, around 50% here.
Yeah, at least guaranteed 50%. The big ultimate I'm looking out for, though, is that Riptire from Golden Eagle.
Yes.
It is ready to go, so a lot of pressure on Spicy Pepper to try and hold on to that protection Suzu as long as they can, so they actually have an escape button from that looming ult.
Sweatpants with that beat on board once again. Fool me once, you know. Hopefully they don't Ajax twice in a row. Golden Eagle does go down. No Riptire in sight quite yet. Meteor Strike, also a silent ultimate. Gets Scam, stays alive. Well, at least for now, he's able to get back out of the fray. Riptire from Spawn?
Okay. Yeah, where's the favor? They're just backing out. They're like, nah, we're good.
Only a 10-second timer and still somehow finds Floor. Unfortunately, Akko is going to get traded, so it's just going to be a 4v4, but Golden Eagle not there because they swapped to Cassidy. They're still back in Spawn, so it was a 4v3, which is already about to be a 4v1. The Kitsune Rush is late, and nobody's left to use it. Cassidy goes in, but a bit of an overextension is going to cost him. No healing online. A counter Kitsune? Huh?
Might as well put some icing on the cake here if you're Winston's fan club. Knock them all down.
I didn't look at the percentage. I get it. I see the vision. I see the vision. That's my bad. That's my fault, chat. I get it. I get it.
They're cooking. That's for sure. 2-1 in favor of the fan club. Even though a little bit of a scare, I will say, over on Sanctuary.
A wee bit. Things got a little bit frightening there in the middle, but we were able to see a victory pulled out for Winston Fan Club. And going into map number 2, Midtown, that's still a pretty darn good Doomfist map if you know how to play him. And I'm more than confident that our in-house Doomfist player gets scammed clearly does. So Jesse, going into this on the side of Nerf Genji, what swaps do we want to be seeing? Is there anything in the hero department you're thinking, or does it come down more to the team's play style on how to improve in the future?
I honestly just want them to stay the Winston, go back to it, because Midtown, you couldn't really, maybe not as much on third phase. Third phase can get a little tricky, but especially first and second phase, you could really make the Winston work on either side. Yeah. Especially on defense. The Doom has to really commit to actually reach your backline, because going under that tunnel, there's not a lot of sight if your supports are kind of hanging a little bit farther back. So if you're able to catch them off that way, finish them off quickly, that could be the way that they can get back into this one. But it's not as dire as some of the, series previously tonight, to where I could easily see this going to a map 3 if those small, just little adjustments are being made.
Yeah, I might even be a little bit surprised if we don't go to a map 3.
Yeah.
I think this has been really close so far. I think we saw those little bit of improvements, maybe not go as far as they wanted, but still made a valiant effort at trying to be successful when it mattered most. And hopefully we're going to be able to see that more on Midtown. I think when it comes down to it, I think Rip Tire out of spawn, I think is a fascinating choice. I think going to the Cassidy late, maybe swapping to a Soldier 76 or an Echo or a Tracer even, just something with more mobility would have made a little bit more sense, but that's a very minor kind of detail. It's very pedantic nature. Of course, the Ajax, nobody wants to get Ajaxed. It wasn't on purpose. You don't need to improve on that. That's just something that you don't want to happen later down the line. But going to Midtown, I suspect Winston's fan club to pick defense, and I think that we very likely may see more than the first point for the first time today.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. We haven't seen, Streets phase at all today. Other than seeing people got out of spawn. So, at least, hey, we already saw, first time we've seen round 3 today, all day, was in this series. So, maybe we see, a little bit of Streets phase as we're heading into the streets of New York. And honestly, I could see it. Depending on how this goes, it will be, again, the winning team over on Control. They will be on the defense again to get us started here. So, a lot of pressure to go over onto Winston's fan club to try and keep the momentum going their way, and to try and isolate Nerf Genji, give them their second 0-2 loss of the day, and start off 2-0 in the group stage. It's a lot of pressure. Winston's fan club going with the Reinhardt. I am loving this. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm loving this.
I just love Reinhardt. That's my boy. Back when I played collegiate, back in my day, I was a Reinhardt player through and through. Back when he was actually able to be played a little bit more consistently. And I'm looking to see if Get Scammed can make it happen. I think this is a really good Ryan map. I think both first and third point work really well for Reinhardt, and I'm hoping that maybe we see a little bit of some big shatter action.
I love just seeing Reinhardt, no matter what.
Real.
Even, now he's not horrible anymore. He used to be in a really rough spot coming a few months ago, but now he's in a very playable spot. As long as you especially have a Lucio, have, a Baptiste or a Kiri with you, then it could really work. So, you could tell it's definitely throwing Nerf Genji off. They were not expecting the Ryan as they're running Hog currently.
Yeah, who is expecting the Ryan? We haven't seen this guy in 100
True.
years. I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen Reinhardt, but I do think Roadhog could work really well on breaking down that shield early. Baptiste falls out of position. They go into this rotation. Now, this is actually a very impressive rotation, one that I do tend to see at the collegiate level. So to see high schoolers even attempting to make it, I think is a great indicator of the level of prowess these teams are trying to bring to the table right now. Joshi Washi will be eliminated. That's going to be almost a minute off the clock with nothing to show for it. I think this Moira will not be long for this world all the same. Spicy Pepper does get traded, may have to make a speed swap to get back to the fight in time. Nobody's healing, Get Scammed. Is the Moira gonna be able to pull this off in the backline? Somebody's gotta help him!
Ryan needs help. Come on in there.
Finally.
There it is. Gaming-itis, admittedly, it lived way longer than I think either of us expected.
Yes.
They kind of just hit up in the fire station for a little bit. But that's not a horrible look here for Nerf Genji. They almost have the Deadeye already, which is actually kind of crazy, considering they lost the fight. And just over a minute gone, it's not impossible. If you break the shield here of Get Scammed, you can just try to run on in and try and get an early pickoff.
Almost half the time bank is come and gone already. A great pig pen wide swings the corner. Could be some value there. But instead, nothing quite yet. 10 seconds into this fight. Nobody has fallen. Nobody's even really taken damage other than a couple of stray shots here or there. Winston's fan club nearly 4 ultimates in their pocket, and one of them going to make an appearance early. Imogen comes out. Oh, what a pin from Get Scammed in the back line. Able to take Akko out of the way, and if we can jump into that small room here to see what exactly is going to be happening across the mix. Great shot goes in. Pylon down. A lot of ultimates up and running. But it's going to be who uses them first. If you don't use them, you lose them. And Sweatpants learning that the hard way once again.
Yeah, I don't think they realize how many Nerf Genji members are up there in the firehouses. They'll eventually start, making their way down. Some on the point. Mango Slayer just gets caught.
Oh! Nobody there to stop it. Spicy Pepper goes down floor all the same. Golden Eagle trying to carry this engagement. The Shatter comes out too little, too late. Nobody there to capitalize off the back of the beat drop from Sweatpants. Just not going to be there either. 3 ultimates expended. I think 0 inches gained off the board here. Wow, Golden Eagle. More like Golden Eye. A beautiful shot across the board. Giving Nerf Genji, I believe, the first point advantage.
Yeah, they should be able to cap. It seems like, yeah, Winston fan club, they're not going to contest this. So, first point will be capped. And again, Streets Face does exist, everybody. 3 series in it took us, but it will get us there now as Nerf Genji on the back of Golden Eagle already, by the way, halfway to another Deadeye, which is just a ridiculous pace, putting the team on their back so far.
Oh, the hook falls short. Now, this is where Reinhardt does tend to fall a little bit lackluster is this second portion, just due to the fact that he doesn't have the space he needs to be successful.
Oh.
Hog comes out, and Flora is still able to find 2 on the board. Joshiwashi's immortality field is going to be removed by them. And a lot of ultimates used, only 1 player goes down, and Winston's fan club happy to see it.
I think Joshiwashi pushed Plori into their teammate there on accident with the whole, I can understand what they were trying to do. There, you know, I want to live, push him away. I think they pushed him actually right into Golden Eagle.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It didn't change the outcome of the fight. I think it was a lost fight to begin with just because it already got some value. So we'll put an asterisk next to that one. But Nerf Genji, they almost have the tack visor, and as well as the captive Sun and Deadeye, all to use here could be a great way, especially Gets game playing really aggressive still.
Ooh, a great pin from Get Scammed onto Mango Slayer just in time for that attack visor to come out. High noon from Golden Eagle, all the same. 3 players down, 3 ultimates used, and Winston's fan club gonna have to probably kiss this fight goodbye, but Get Scammed gets another one. He takes 2 players out before he bites that bullet, and I mean, hey, that's about sending a message. It's not about winning. Gonna be able to go underneath the bridge here where Reinhardt does re-enter the fray as valuable. Gotta really try to keep an eye on to see if he's gonna be able to find that value or not.
Yeah, I definitely possible. It was a really tricky and expensive fight though for Nerf Genji. Akko used as the attack visor, and you can see Spicy Pepper and Sweatpants both kind of hide behind the car, and you can tell Golden Eagle's kind of looking just above and like, oh, that's cute, and just dead eyes too.
Oh, that's cute. Oh my goodness, it looks like this is going to be a good fight win for Winston's fan club here. They're able to use just that overclock. They get the action-packed combat they need. And now with 3-4 ultimates going into this next fight, only 80 seconds on the clock. Nerf Genji gonna have to try to win this one dry and win it quickly.
I was waiting for this swap. It has come.
Better late
Akko
than never.
is on the Bastion, so if Get Scammed thought their life was already hard enough on the Rhine, it's about to get 10 times harder, because as soon as they go on a tournament, I have a feeling I know exactly who Akko will be eyeing up.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be any kind of surprise. Akko going to be going through that shield unless Akko does not get to be in the fight at all. Akko is down. Golden Eagle gets taken out as well, and Winston's fan club, they win that fight with 1 ultimate. They've got 3 left for what will inevitably be the last engagement. Get scanned. Are they swapping?
They're swapping. I love this, actually. They're going to go over to the Ramacha, which is a little better. I personally would have preferred like a Sig.
Sure.
But I do think it's at least better. Like, you can just guard and try and absorb some of that damage, and you can be a little more experimental with where you put that shield. But yeah, it's better than the Rhine.
Yeah, Ryan going to be a bit difficult to play. Could be a pretty huge whole hog here if Joshiwashi can live long enough to use it.
They don't get it.
Be able to. No value found off the back, but the Rising Sun just not there for the second half of the combo. Great hook in. Ramatra pulled in and taken out. It's a tank trade. 10 seconds left on the clock. Nerf Genji just trying to get into that point. Is Golden Eagle, okay, barely going to get taken down there, and I think this is going to be where the card comes to a close. Only 1 player left, and it's that Moira's Coalescence, desperate to keep the dream alive, not able to touch the cart before the timer comes to a close. And Nerf Genji, 111 meters in. I mean, that is huge.
It's big. It definitely leaves it plausible here for them to try and hold on, especially with it being right at the end of second phase. It's not like you got stuck under tunnel. You still have a lot of space to work with here in Streets phase. And I love the swap. Yes, it didn't really, you know, we didn't get to really see a lot of it because Sam didn't get the sound barrier from Sweatpants. They were just tucked in that corner just a little bit too much. And they do get finished off with the hook combo before Joshiwashi falls, but it's the fact that, hey, they used the M-Matrix right after, and everybody on that team could benefit from it. You know, you got hits, you got the Baptiste, you got 2 hit scans you're working off of. Everything seemed to work great, and that is a hot swap on rolls, actually. Golden Eagle will go to the tank, and they will go the Roadhog. So you don't see this very often. To where, yeah, you know, sometimes we saw it a little bit earlier in between maps. We'll see a little bit of a roll swap happen. Not during a map very often. So Golden Eagle will now take the reins on tank. They will go the Roadhog. Joshiwashi will go over now to the Flex DPS onto the Genji. So even though their name is Nerf Genji, they're going to pull it out for now.
Maybe we're about to find out why they feel that way. Maybe they have a
True.
very strong Genji player just waiting for his chance to show himself, and Joshiwashi gonna try to be that hero today, gonna try to be that Genji that so desperately needs nerfed down the line. So I don't know, I'm excited. I'm hopeful that maybe we're gonna get a fascinating play here. Golden Eagle swapping the tank mid matchup already, making it worthwhile. Floor just removed from the fight before they can even play the game.
Yeah, that was quick. Poor Plor. Whenever they go on the Reaper, it just does not work at all. Right?
Yeah.
As much as they want it to work, it just doesn't. But they're actually going to continue trying to push up here on Tunnel. They want to gain that high ground advantage. The hook gains no purchase yet, so it's kind of just a staring contest so far, as all the damage going back and forth and nothing to really show for it.
Oh, Golden Eagle down. Floor gonna get that revenge kill early. Akko looking for an opportunity to strike here on this Bastion. Has to backpedal with the rest of the team. Oh my goodness, Mango is critical condition. Not able to live long enough, and it looks like Winston's fan club just over a minute off the clock. They will put themselves in a good position to cap this first point.
Yeah, good position to cap. They're already actually going to go forward as well to maybe even try and get a stagger kill, or if anything, just to ensure, hey, you're not touching this. Again, even Golden Eagle, they're going to try it. And, yeah, that's about how we thought that was going to go, sadly.
Yeah, credit where credit is due. Joshiwashi going to be going out of the Venture as well here, so definitely looking to take the team on an adventure. Not going to be able to find anything quite yet, though, as Akko does get staggered pretty aggressively.
Yeah, that's a harsh one, because now instead of being able to hold here at this first corner, like we saw Winston's fan club hold for a little bit, you just kind of have to give it up and play the high ground. Granted, they do find the opening pick on the Plor, which Plor is just not having fun so far in the Reaper.
Yeah, Reaper is a very specific pick. I mean, he's one that we see somewhat often, but not really super consistently either. He's very kind of middle of the road on whether or not he's going to be making an appearance, and it looks like Winston's fan club really wants to make this happen, but I hate to say, if they're struggling this much against a team that's currently 0-1 on the series, or on the day, rather, you've got to assume something about their comm needs to change, because you put them up against a team like Palisades, I think they'd really be struggling, so we need to see Winston's fan club clean up a little bit, but it looks like they're really starting to do that now, and this could be an opportunity.
Yeah, great fight there. Just they kind of wait for Nerf Genji to really initiate there. Sweatpants. And man, they're just not. Them and Golden Eagle have a very love-hate relationship so far today. But they absorb a lot of that, and they just go right on in afterward. The hook, they're going to the whole hog, and just not enough health this time for Golden Eagle to get anything out of it.
Yeah, a bit of a bummer, honestly. Just not able to get the help that they're looking for. Trying to find a bit of value moving further into the series here, but it's going to be that annihilation. I mean, that just the OG domain expansion here in Overwatch. A late stagger comes out, but you just deliver yourself on a silver platter, and that will be Winston's fan club winning out the series 2-0, our third 2-0 in a row.
It will be Winston's fan club keeping that train going with the 2-0s. That was great, honestly, for them. Even though, yes, they, a few times here and there, not really having the momentum or not keeping the momentum as they would have liked. And granted, a lot of that was to this man right here, Golden Eagle.
Yeah.
Was having an incredible job so far. And they, if Nerf Genji can get a run going, they still have one more game tonight in their group stage to, try and at least get third place potentially in the group. That is the person that really needs to keep it going, because they played excellently. But overall, Winston's fan club got a nice little 2-0 start to the night, and potentially going to get that #1 seed here in Group C.
Definitely going to be looking for that #1 seed as we move further into the night. But folks, we've got one more Overwatch 2 series coming at you in just a couple of minutes. We're going to go ahead and throw it to a break. We'll see you right back here with our fourth and final series of the night in just a few. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the VESL Overwatch one-off tournament. I'm Sephiroth, joined by Twin Salty for our fourth and final series of the night. We're going to be seeing Live with Honor versus Outex. Jesse, how have these teams been doing so far this evening?
So Live with Honor 2-0 on the day so far, looking to lock in that #1 seed here in Group B. Outex, on the other hand, 1-1. So far, if they can win this one, potentially still have a bid for first place. Got a few tiebreakers that would maybe get in the mix, depending on how that other Group B game goes. But a loss would basically lock them into third in the group, which is obviously not where they want to be.
Right.
So we'll have to wait and see if they can actually get it done, as Antarctic Peninsula will be our last control map of the night.
Yeah, looks like we're seeing Antarctic Peninsula as our last control map this evening. I'm excited to see what these players are going to be locking in here to kick things off.
We, lobby issue? maybe?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna have to kick a little map restart real quick. It happens to the best of us, but this is an in-lobby issue that we have seen before. Sometimes you'll load into a custom game and it will just give you a black screen. And that's it. So we're gonna have to try to reopen that lobby, see if these players can get back in and see if we can get Antarctic Peninsula up and running. Shouldn't take particularly long, maybe a minute or two. So just gives us a little bit of time to discuss, what we think we're gonna be seeing on Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah, honestly, especially, well, it depends on what, I guess, sub-map we go to first, because it could be completely different to what we just saw. It's a lot of rush on Antarctic Peninsula. There's not a lot of dive you can run, so some Ram, Rhine, JQ, we've even seen a little bit more as of late. I don't mind seeing JQ go back into the mix as long as it's not just JQ. That's was kind of where we're hitting with the Malga on the top two right now. It's like, all right, we think they're a cool hero. We don't want them every game.
We get it.
On the
He's
top
cool.
of the ladder.
But come on.
We get it. But it's like, come on. We want to, see something else. We don't want to get insta-burned when you use, Adrenaline Overdrive and
there we go.
Pump through everybody. There we go. Everybody back in. It will be a different sub-map to start, but will actually be more of a dive look coming in here on the right. And actually, yeah, the Rhine Bastion. Okay, they're cooking over there.
Overwatch 1 Route 66 type beat for real.
Real.
Rhine Bastion is crazy. But we got Lifeweaver in the mix as well. Super excited to see how that goes. So Live with Honor definitely trying to come out and live with honor, die with glory. Perhaps they've got that Reinhardt player. That's where the name might come from. That Live with Honor. Caloran did goof up their charge and has to hang out with the rest of the team for a minute before pinning right back into the mix here. I think Outex, they've got a pretty decent anti-Rhine composition, and I'm wondering if Caloran is going to get to play as aggressive as they want to, or if instead they have much more defensive, much more comfortable play style.
Yeah, honestly, I wonder if they're not even be super aggressive. They're just going to be a shield for a Nas, which honestly, I could see it working, especially when the Winston's in play. It might get a little tricky for them to try and push in. His Storm Pulse, the only real counter to that Bastion right now, is already low, and it will be first cap going to Live with Honor.
First cap to Live with Honor. It's kind of a blink and you miss it moment. This team comes out quickly. A very stealthy approach is going to be able to get them the numbers they are looking for moving deeper into this series thus far. Ooh, a great pull. Keeps Caloran alive. I wonder if that's Master Tino's job, is just keep that pull on cooldown for when this Rhine overextends just a bit. Bionade from Devo Speed removes that Rhine from the fight once more. A great off angle from Ratted Kill here. Should be able to get the Bastion, but no! Falls off the high ground, gets taken out by Bastion of the very same. That is a huge stagger, 33% and counting.
Yeah, massive stagger. They had the right idea, like you said. Go on the off angle, try and get some stuff done. The pull will save the Rhine there, though, for a second. Storm Pulse with the deflect, just going to keep everyone at bay. But I think who got left? Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
That is not where you want to be. They somehow get out, though. Fair play.
Sombra back on the Kill God scenario here. And it looks like Live with Honor. Great pin in. The Winston falls to half HP. Primal Rage just around the corner. But he's not going to get to use it. He is shattered out of Valkyrie into the air. Nano boost onto the Winston. Waiting for it to come to a close before, that Primal Rage comes up. Tree of Life from Master Tino. A lot of ultimates expended. And Live with Honor, they're happy to see this because they're still winning this fight.
They're still winning it. As long as you win the fight, they will not care if it is a lot of resources going in, but it's still Outex sticking around, and maybe that's to their own doom. 3 more kills go their way, and they really don't have a touch right away to get over here. Kinda Kudeki's on the Mercy. That's not who you want to touch. And Devo Speed might have to, unless who is now on the Doomfist, is able to get over. They still have the Blade to try and mix it up, but the Deadeye from Mailbox could shut it all down. And don't touch.
Or a secret third option where they just frames away from being able to touch, aren't able to do it. Was that a 100-0 Twin Salty?
Yep. Not that we wanted it, but yeah. 100-0, almost the touch going in, but not able to pop the Blade, and Rated Kill God just dies before they're able to touch that point on the Sombra. So not a great start, obviously, there for Outex, who, like we said, really need to win this game to put themselves in a decent position for the knockout bracket that starts tomorrow. But so far, just no dice, honestly, for them. Live with Honor, no need to change really anything. It is Outex who really need to figure it out. And it will be who now going over to the Diva. A little bit more of an isolation on that damage coming in from Nas.
Damage control here is going to be the name of the game, and Nas damage just mitigation from Who, trying to take Nas down a peg. I don't know, Diva into Rhine's always interesting. You know, at the lower ranks, they encourage you to play Diva into Rhine, and I think she works at a fundamental level, but I do think she's very easy to pick apart. The same way she's picking Nas apart right now. The Life Weaver pull does not keep the Bastion alive, it just prolongs the inevitable, and now Who, way too deep into the back line, loses the mech, so that sacrifice immediately not worth it, as your Sombra has gone down as well, and the rest of your team may not be far behind.
Yeah, they get the res off, though, in the back. They pay their life for it, and okay, they don't get back in mech. Doesn't matter in the long run. 6%, though, over to the Outex. Maybe one of the fastest flips I've actually ever seen in control. I don't mind, though. Yeah, put some pressure on Nas. Go into the back line. You just need to make sure you have the support if you're Outex, and right now, you don't, because Devo's speed is out of the action.
Speed has been the name of the game thus far, and we're looking to see if they can continue breaking that momentum when it matters most. But alas, Live With Honor continues to win these fights just one play at a time. And Outex, they had a couple of good tries here and there, but unfortunately just the momentum they need has not been on their side. Coming in with a Diva Bomb EMP combo. Probably next fight, that could be huge, but look at the ultimates that Live With Honor has.
Yeah, you gotta be using that. Tree is almost online. They can just use that to stall even more. Even though Master Tino is hacked, and they try and pop it impulsively, but they actually don't.
Oh, that Sombra down. The EMP not going to be there for the bomb. Live With Honor, they haven't even needed to use an ult yet. They've just got him for a rainy day at this point. 60% on the board. A lot of damage on the Caloran, but the supports are there. Two of the highest support outputters in the game, especially when they're solo focusing a target like this Reinhardt. It'll be really hard to take down without dislocating or dislodging those supports first. Master Tino being attacked in the back line, but the team there to peel for it. And Outex, they are just staggered like you would not believe.
Yeah, just staggers on staggers. Have yet to use an ult, and now Nas will just use their artillery strike. EMP goes in!
Hammer
that
is down. This is a huge play from the Outex, but Caloran just doing it to do it, I think.
Yeah, why not? It's 3 ults for each side, man. It's not even that bad when you look at it. I thought it was actually worse at first glance. I'm like, oh, they did commit a lot. They don't have that EMP self-destruct combo anymore, but you still have the self-destruct. You still have Blade to use, and Shatter is gone from Caloran, who's been just lining it up so far today. So honestly, a decent start. Deflect, though, is already gone, and Deadeye could have been an easy use.
Yeah, Deflect offline. We don't really have another Deadeye counter. Blade out from Storm Pulse. We didn't get the chance to see it last time, but Tree of Life from Master Tino is going to lose its LOS on Nas, who will fall, I believe. Yep, Who will be going down all the same. Diva Bomb removes the Tree of Life, but not more. Storm Pulse eliminated. Outex just moments away from possibly obliterated. Devo disappears. And Flame Strike finds you. This should be the end of the map here. 60% of the board for the Outex. A lot closer than map number 1, but Live With Honor. They've got a high noon. They've only got 10 seconds to try and stall out against a team with 0 ultimates.
Yeah, unless you can maybe like find a Coalescence or Kitsune Rush during this fight, you're going to have nothing to really use. You got to make sure you touch. And okay, they barely do.
That scarcity of touch here. It's just going to be a delay of the inevitable. Antarctic Peninsula should be moments away from coming to a close. And it looks like Live With Honor is going to be able to not even worry about dying with glory, because this team will not go down quite yet. Another victory here on the board. And already series point.
Series points in favor now for Live With Honor, as a little bit of a scare early on, but able to lock it down. This Ryan Bastion comp is just a whole lot of distractions and a whole lot of damage pumping through. And the fact that it's King's Row next, which you gotta think is, if you are Outex, you just giant sides like, oh, that's what we're gonna be going into. Okay, that's not really what we wanted map 2 to be, but that is kind of where they landed. You got to figure out something, because that is going to be Caloran's heaven.
Yeah, and Outex, they're going to be coming out of like Bastion, Zarya, Echo.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's going to be the most anti-Rhine comp you've ever had the chance of seeing, and I wonder if we're going to be seeing an Ana on the other side. We saw it back on stage number 1 against Caloran, and I thought it was a really good Rhine deterrent. It forced Caloran to play a lot slower, to play a lot more patient, and a lot less Reinhardt, which I thought was working really well, but apparently the team had a bit of a different opinion there and chose to try a couple other things, and unfortunately just did not meet the bar when we needed them to. So going into King's Row, I'd like to see that Ana come back. And while I say it partially as a joke, I think Echo would be a really good pick as well.
Oh, I think Echo, especially even if it is using that focusing beam to just tear down the Rhine shield, could just be great. Like, all right, shield is actually down. We can actually push off of it. Or finding somebody who is lit up by your Genji, go in, finish the job, and just try and get it done that way. Because it seemed like they'd get a lot of people lit. It just wouldn't actually finish off the kill. So that could be something that they try and look for here. I don't mind, like you said, the Rhine getting pulled out. It is just, you know, typically, oh, they have Rhine. We can go Zarya. We can go Ramatra.
Yep.
Ramatra's been a very popular counter for Rhine as of late.
True.
It's just the fact that, you know, Bastion is also on the other side. So it's like, all right, do you then try and counter Bastion with Sigma? Or, like, how do you want to play? You can only really counter one or the other. If they get defense first, they could run the Sig and have it work actually really well. We just don't know yet if they start on that offense or defense. So I think Sig, Ram, or Zarya are all pretty good options depending on the comfortability that Outex have on those heroes. But it could be something that they could lean to at least try to alleviate some of the damage coming in, because, yeah, the Rhine Bastion is just doing a lot.
Yeah, Rhine Bastion. I mean, it is a composition as old as time. These two have been in the game since the very beginning, and that composition is one that we will see every now and again. Somebody just having a giggle with it, somebody just having a little bit of fun, but so far it has been a really, really strong showing thus far. And while we wait for these teams to figure out what sides they're going to be on, I feel like Caloran's team, Live With Honor, might choose to be on defense. It's what we've seen every time, and yeah, it looks like that is exactly what we're going to be seeing here as well.
Yeah, so 4 for 4 on that line tonight. As team who wins control, they're going to stick to the defense first, and they're not going to change anything. And you can't really blame them, Matt. Like, the way that it went, you know, Nas kind of got left behind just with that.
Oops.
Whoops. Well, yeah, you might as well just stick it at this point if you're Live With Honor. Force Outex to try and find the answer. Kind of Kaduki will go over to the Honor. You kind of called it out.
Yep.
We both kind of teased it a little bit like, hey, we want to see more of it, and that is what we will be able to see. Just try and use those Bionades onto Caloran to give their Reinhardt, now who is who, a little bit of an advantage in the front. Devo speed will go to the Tracer. I don't mind it. I just think it could definitely get a little interesting still with Juju on the Kiriko. It's kind of turned into a natural counter with that extra kunai headshot damage.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually seeing the Rhine mirror here. I think putting Caloran in the best Rhine map with a Rhine opponent is not maybe going to have the same value you're hoping it does. I hate to say it, but this is his wheelhouse. This is the exact area that he wants to be seen in. And there's a good example. Storm Pulse overextends, gets taken down in the blink of an eye. Lucio missing. Reinhardt's viability can plummet without that speed boost in pocket.
Yeah, if you don't have the speed, sometimes it can really struggle. And even though, you know, Caloran hasn't really had that issue so far, but that's just because there's also a Bastion that Outex have to worry about, and that gets way more difficult. And rated God. Well, that was unfortunate. Little do they know, Cassidy was sneaking up right behind him.
Surprise! Happy birthday!
Gets the guy who hates surprises. Not good.
Yep, you know, right back to Sombra. It's one of those situations where you see that comfort pick come out once again. I think hacking the Life Weaver or the Bastard or the Rhine are all really good options. But Outex, something they're missing with this Sombra play is when you have a Sombra on your team needs to have just unparalleled communication and target focus. You need to be going after the person that's been hacked in an instant. And I'm just not sure we're seeing that from the Outex yet. I think who needs to hold on to this chatter. It looks like they know that as well. Caloran finds a double kill, and nearly half the time bank is gone already.
Yeah, they're at least smart enough there. Hey, hold on to the shatter. You may not even get it off in time.
Yep.
With how much damage was coming through, so they at least have something to use. Next fight is Devo Speed did use the Pulse Bomb. It lands on the Caloran, but by the time this fight ends, you can already see Caloran's almost back, walking through streets. So not the greatest play there, but I understand. At that point, it was still kind of winnable as Mailbox is just popping off, able to get a few more of these cleanup kills. Half the time gone. It seems to be the night of the Cassidys.
Yeah,
a lot of these games, Matt. My goodness.
Yeah, and Cassidys today have just been so unbelievably impressive up to this point, and it looks like Mailbox 101, which great gamer tag, by the way. I can't believe I haven't said that out loud.
Yeah, right?
Yet, but it's Just been the day of the Cassidys, and
Oh,
poor
Storm
Storm
Pulse.
Pulse right out of spawn. Probably wall road obliviously right into that, and it is going to end up costing that team another fight. We are down to only 90 seconds left on the clock here for the Outex. This may be another loss for them.
Ready Kill God has made the swap to the Reaper, and they get hindered, and they're gone. And just like that.
Just like that. 2 players down, the DPS
Shatter.
line missing. Shatter comes out from who, but too little too late. Who are you trying to shatter, my friend? That was Caloran, excuse me. No, it was an insult there. Insult to injury on Caloran with that shatter, but you know what they say, a win is a win, and by golly, has this been a win indeed.
Yeah, it just seems everything is going right for Live With Honor. It feels like our first series of the day, to where it's like, it's not even like Outex are doing so many things wrong. It is just Live With Honor are playing this comp perfectly.
Yep.
To where Caloran, like, yeah, they use the Shadow there. Who is so afraid to use it, because if they don't hit the Bastion, there is so much damage that is going to come through. And if you don't hit Juju, they can just cleanse it all anyway with the Suzu.
Yeah, that Suzu could come in clutch here, but Outex with 2 huge ultimates, that Shatter and that Overclock online. And speaking of the devil, the Overclock in the Shatter, maybe just a frame or 2 away. Kiriko gonna be caught out a high noon from Mailbox here. This is really good. It isolates the point, it takes down Divu, and it keeps the game tied up. Nas does fall, but it's a 4v4 with a lot of pressure being put out in the backline. Resurrection up on point, but wow, Divu not long for the Mortal Coil, I believe. Juju does fall. This could be a huge win for the Outex. They found a tick, and in the final moment here, we may be getting to see the Streets phase of Kings Row.
Are they going to push back in? No, Caloran will stick it to the high ground, and we will get to see the Streets phase of Kings Row. The Sim swap is actually what made the difference. Those turrets being a little bit more pesky than I think Live With Honor were, going to realize. And that's a great little thing here for Outex. You at least still have 2 minutes to work with. The only downside is a Live With Honor should... Actually, they're not even going to hold Archway. They will get the Archway for free here, Miss Septilets.
Oh, Archway for free. We have the artillery strike coming out from Nas to try and make a little bit of space here, but it's the second corner that can make or break a point at a lot of times. I think Caloran knows that. That's why he's waiting for them to get a little bit closer. He's going to wave, create that false sense of security, and most likely shatter underneath the cart if Who decides to jump up again, because they really like to do that, and it's become a bit predictable. I'm wondering if Caloran's had the chance to see it, but instead, Caloran gets shattered. A great Tree of Life from Master Tino makes it difficult for the Ryan to get into the engagement.
Oh!
Already do a phenomenal shatter in the back line. The Ryan overextends, and the rest of the team eliminated and obliterated. A beautiful play. Master Tino, I think, just an unsung hero there. That Tree of Life was beautiful.
Oh, it was amazing. And honestly, Lifeweaver's in a weird spot to where if you don't know how to play them, like me, you can really throw with Lifeweaver.
If you do know how to play
very
them,
easily.
Me?
Yeah. But if you can actually play them right, they can be extremely beneficial for plays like that.
Yeah, indubitably so. I mean, this Lifeweaver has been such a power player up to this point, and I'm really excited to see Master Tino do such a good job on a character that, as you mentioned, Jesse, was written off a while ago by a lot of people.
Yeah. Very much so. Kitsune rushes used, and already Devo finding one. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, wow. Blink and you miss it. Storm Pulse finally swapping out of this Kiriko off the Lucio and really just taking off the shackles. You know, the weights are down. The player is out, and Outex 40 seconds left. Really likely to cap this second point.
Yeah, they should be able to at this rate, unless it is a very quick touch coming in from Live With Honor. They do make the Hanzo swap, and they have the Coalescence to work with. Does Caloran just pin in to try and touch? They will! Oh, and they overshot it.
Oh, overshot it by just a little bit there and give their life for it. So now Outex continue this level of overzealousness. They get to continue walking forward and taking this team down one peg at a time. This turns from a full hold into a very possible win here for Outex if they're able to keep this momentum going.
Yeah, it's been a complete turnaround in Devo speed on the Soj. I think this is finally, them settling into this series a little bit. Same thing with Rated Kilgon on the Symmetra. It is making Caloran's life actually difficult, considering, the first map or so, Caloran was just living life on a beach, it felt like.
Yeah, no, seriously, just felt like Caloran is isolated out on that beach, just enjoying the good life, and then all of a sudden, the team comes back. They're putting a squad together for one last job, and Caloran just has not been able to restabilize it since they've been putting that pressure back on themselves. Nas finds one. The Shatter is somewhat silent. Who makes a really interesting choice? Yeah, the Ryan gets pulled in. Who is now completely isolated in the back line, and will 99% chance to be losing their life for it? Yeah. The shatter was up. It was up. It was there.
I can understand wanting to go for it if more of their team was there. You know, they will actually pop the overclock, and yeah, they just get absolutely bombed. Nas sends the artillery strike. I think it hits all 3 of them. Kaduki tried it for the vibes. I respect it.
For the vibes.
For the vibes, I respect it, but not able to get anything done. Now 20 seconds left. Outex gotta figure something out soon because doesn't have a whole lot of time to really work with.
Definitely running out of time to make something happen. A Tree of Life. I love that opportunity because it's not going to be destroyed as easily by the opposing team either. Oh, who is down? And I believe this is where the cart will find itself stalled out. Mailbox gets one from spawn with those dragons. And 59 meters into third point Kings Row is nothing to shy away from. If Outex can play even a half-decent defense, I think there's a very real chance they're going to be able to take us to our third map. I got mixed up.
Yes. No, you're all good.
Third match.
It's been that kind of day, you know? Like, sometimes even the casters get a little bit lost. It's not just the players, you know? Sometimes we see it occasionally, getting lost in the moment. We even saw it there with, you know, Devo Speed. You know, we get lost in it, too. It happens. Honestly, considering they went from maybe not even capping over on first point to now going over and almost finishing the map, you're going to take it if you're Outex. So, now, can they put together a nice little defense? Honestly, it benefits the Symmetra play even more. I think it's been their nice little adaptation that's actually worked so far against Caloran, so that will continue for Rated Kill God. They'll stay on that. Devo Speed going to keep going on this hero roulette, going back over to the Cassidy now. And Storm Pulse will just anticipate. They will go over to the Kiriko to make sure, hey, if we need a quick little cleanse, whether it be for a pin or a lot of damage coming in from Bastion, they're able to use that protection Suzu to get them out.
Yep.
For Live with Honor, yeah, just keep running the same thing. Even though, yes, the Outex got a little bit farther than you thought they would, overall, the same formula generally is working. Unless you lose, like, the first 2 fights here, I wouldn't be, like, too frightened quite yet.
It's really going to come down to how well Caloran plays this opening engagement, I think. They're looking for a Sombra. They're spy checking early, and I want to see if Caloran can go in early enough to just get a pick. Even half of a Flame Strike early on, or half of an Earth Shatter, excuse me. Wow. Never mind. Forget anything Caloran's going to do. That's Symmetra caught in the back line early. Caloran does fall pretty low in the HP department here. They've got to heal this Ryan back up before the Symmetra gets there. She'll return somewhat quickly, even faster now that they're on that Sombra. So if Live with Honor wants to make a move, they've got to do it sooner rather than later, but they've already pretty much run out of time to make that happen unless they get another elimination.
Yeah, unless they find one more, it's going to be incredibly difficult. Caloran now it's going to keep pushing in. It'll be the Sombra in back, trying to get something done. They have to get hit with the Fire Strike, I think, from Caloran on their exit. Oof. Where Mailbox is just they were chilling just on high ground, and Shatter is blocked.
Shatter gets blocked. Hoog spends that ultimate early. Caloran finds another elimination, gets hindered out of the equation, but Suzu keeps Who up and running. Devo Speed is critical condition. No healing on them quite yet. And okay, Caloran, not a clue where you're headed, my friend, but clearly it's working well. 2 players down now, and Who caught in the back line. Only a Mercy to their name. Just going to have to watch as this team gets 1 tick already and rapidly closing in on this percentage, getting even higher. A great pin goes out, keeps the Cassidy alive, and the Reinhardt finally falls. That should be the ending of this engagement. All of a sudden, just Shatter. Just do it.
I was waiting for it. Come on.
I would have done it. Better man than me, Caloran. I would have shattered.
I would have ego shattered in a heartbeat there, but they may. All right, they're going to cap point here unless there is a miracle touch from Outex. They will. Over 4.5 minutes left. I wonder if they try and do it now, as that shield could get broke here in a second, but instead, Mailbox can take it up by Kudeki? That was... I'm not sure how that one happened.
I would love to say I could tell you, but I'm not. I don't know a darn tootin' thing. What I do know, though, is Outex, so many ultimates to work with. The issue, they just can't stay alive long enough to use them. I mean, Rated just, he gave you the exclamation point to that statement as I was making it. A Shatter comes out from Cal.
Oh!
He's able to find 2 stuns in the Mercy. Maybe able to stay standing, but instead both supports now go down. The Ryan will be joining them. Cassidy taught out by that Coalescence all the same. And Live with Honor, they used 2. They gained 200 meters, and they're getting ready to wrap this series up with a nice little bow on top.
Yeah, putting themselves in a phenomenal position to, as They find a rated kill god early. They actually swap over to the soldier now. But they find them early and it's, all right, no hacks we need to worry about. We can just go in, no worries at all. Tree is online for this fight as well. I wonder if they even block it and use it to block some sightlines here at the end of the second phase.
Blocking those sight lines is going to be the name of the game, or at least it's what we're looking to see from these teams thus far. Could be a lot of pressure on the line here, but the second point might be capped, just fully uncontested. Oh no, Shatter comes out from who they know they have to win this fight. They're going to lose a lot of the momentum they're looking for. High Noon finds naught from Devo Speed. They're in critical condition all the same in the High Noon from Mailbox. Oh goodness, that's going to be another one going down. All of a sudden, Outex just do not have the numbers they need to succeed.
And the fact that, you know, Life Without are capped during that fight, it wasn't at the very end. They're already getting this cart rolling. It's going to be a very dangerous position here for Outex, but they use the Kitsune. They're going to try and push on forward and at least force Live With Honor away for a moment so they can at least try and settle down a tiny bit. And now, rated kill god, they will be on the Bastion themselves. Devo Speed onto Venture. So, a little bit of Venture gameplay for the night.
Yeah, another Venture player making an appearance here. You love to see it because we have not had the opportunity to see it quite yet, but or not in this series, rather.
Mailbox, right? Yeah, back to the Cassidy's taking over the lobby. Finds two. Caloran able to find one. And poor Devo Speed. Yeah, you're stuck on the high ground. They can't really hit you there, but you're not also in a great spot to get out at the moment. Are they going to get artillery striked on the way out? They are. Oh my goodness. That's just rude.
Oh, yeah, that is a tough moment to turn around from. Now, Rated Kill God has an artillery strike of their own, but everybody will be able to survive it using all three pretty darn quickly there. Storm Pulse goes down to Caloran, who is just deep in the back line of this opposing team. 2 players already down. I think this is the beginning of the end of our final series here. 3 players missing a 15-player kill streak for Caloran, put on their best hero on their best map, with their best possible win score on the board. A 2-0 victory for Live With Honor over the Outex for our final series of the night.
Live With Honor, they will finish top of the group in Group B, and they will be the top seed, one of the top 4 seeds going into tomorrow's knockout bracket. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, Euroburrows are up 1-0 on Palisades B. So as it stands, Live With Honor will be first in the group, Euroburrows second, Outex third, and Palisades B will be finishing it out in 4th. So that is how Group B will look. Obviously, we've got a few more games to finish out tonight off stream to figure out how the entire bracket looks. But we definitely got some favorites after seeing some of the top teams play tonight, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we cannot forget about how the Palisades did in their first series. We cannot forget about Delicate in particular leading their team with the help of a couple of great Call of Duty players in our first series of the night. I mean, it was a very, very good night that I'm happy that we had the opportunity to be a part of. And before we go, we of course want to give another shout out to Advanced GG, just so you guys can all get a reminder. You can get 10% off your Advanced GG order if you use code VESL. That's VESL for 10% off at advanced.gg. So go ahead and check that out, guys. But that will bring day 1 to a close. We want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Of course, all of our players for coming out today, all of the program coordinators for making this happen, and we're really excited to see you guys more tomorrow. Check your posture, drink some water, don't forget to love each other, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.